One, welcome to Tuesday, April 16th Inquiry. I'm Suzanne Kilkus, the teacher here at Open Doors Zen Community in Madison, Wisconsin. And let's begin with, actually, the way I want to begin is spring is really showing herself here. We had our annual spring retreat this weekend, and I went up to the monastery where we hold it on Wednesday afternoon. And when I came back on Saturday evening, the 30-foot serviceberry tree out in front of my house was filled with blossoms. And it was such a surprise. And now they're kind of all falling down. So if you blink, you miss it. And I don't ever want to miss a moment of it. We're supposed to have some pretty big storms this afternoon, so it's going to shed her petals, but she's showing herself in big glory right now. So let's go ahead and we'll sit for a few minutes together. And as more people come in, it's wonderful to see. Hello again, everyone. Let's recite the verse of the robe. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. Wearing the universal teaching, I realize the one true nature, thus harmonizing all being. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. Wearing the universal teaching, I realize the one true nature, thus harmonizing all being. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. Wearing the universal teaching, I realize the one true nature, thus harmonizing all being. So good to be with you all today. I'm bringing an idea today. I gave a talk on it a while back here in our Sangha, and I've adapted it for us today. I hope it will be encouraging and of benefit to you and your day-to-day practice. The topic is something that's called pith instructions, also known as heart teachings or essential instructions, or my favorite name for it is direct pointing out instructions. I think anything that names things just exactly as it is, I think they get my vote. Anyway, these pith instructions or heart teachings idea comes from the Tibetan Vajra Buddhist path. But I'll begin first with, as is our practice here at Open Door, I first acknowledge our guiding teachers, Flint and Peg, their teachers, our spiritual and personal ancestors without whom we wouldn't be here. I also bow to this land of the Ho-Chunk people here in Madison, Wisconsin, who have cared for it and respected it for millennia. We all live on the lands of those who came before us. We offer our practice and regard toward healing the wrongs perpetrated and work for ways to help repair the wounds of the past for all marginalized people. A recent article in Tricycle Journal, written by Pema Dudal, a Buddhist chaplain, was on pith instruction, and it caught my attention, as I'm always open to deepening practice for myself and offering something of use to you. Here's a description of these types of instructions. They are a form of concise yet rich teachings that distill the core essence of Buddhist philosophy into clear experiential guidance. Once we get into them, I think you'll understand what this all means. They aim to bypass intellectual complexities and lead us directly to transformative insights. They cut through complicated doctrines, concepts, to provide a direct and profound experience of the nature of reality and the mind. We'll have an experience with one of the instructions or one of the teachings in a little bit. In other words, they are shortcuts to help us understand and experience essential truths. For example, impermanence, interdependence, no existing separate self, Buddha nature, and the nature and origins of our unnecessary suffering. They tend to focus on how to apply Buddhist teachings in practice and in our daily life. I think really this is what most of us are here for. We might be interested in the concepts of it or the philosophy of it, but actually if it doesn't have application for our everyday life, it stays in that realm. So how to live fully and express who we truly are for the benefit of all beings, that's what these pith instructions or heart teachings are all about. Here are a few examples of them. The quiet heart is the only place where true satisfaction can be found. Know this, no matter who you are or what you have done, there is always room for you in the Dharma, always. When you look into the eyes of another and see your true nature reflected back at you, you know for certain that we are all one. The past is dead. The future does not exist. The present cannot be found. Rest there. Now I know, excuse me, some of them may sound like koans to you, and they may be experienced that way. Not to be answered, but to take in and notice what presents itself. I have an example to offer of what came up for me as I used one of these. For the past few months, I have not been feeling very well. The demands of caregiving for my husband, who has had several health challenges, took a toll in my own health, leaving me fatigued and with less energy. In other words, this has shown me the limitations that naturally arise in this kind of situation. As a result, I have not been able to be as active as I'm used to, and I've been pondering my usefulness in life, and specifically here in our Sangha. At the time we were preparing for our spring retreat, and I was faced with the possibility that I may need to make some adjustments in how active I can be, I actually felt jarred by that thought, and the thought of the need for changes, of being less useful. And I took it so far as considering being useless. Usefulness was a primary way to gain some attention in my early family life, even to the point of feeling and being loved. I've attended to this very directly over the years with considerable satisfaction and resolution. However, health concerns this stage of life, the elder years, facing the limitations that are part of it, and living actively considering my mortality, all converged to loosening the deepest recesses of this conditioning. So when I read the pith instruction, know this, no matter who you are or what you have done, there is always room for you in the Dharma, always. Something in me was alerted, deep in the center of my solar plexus. Something said, pay attention to this. I amended it a bit and added, no matter what you have not done or cannot do. I followed the instructions that were in the article for how to work with it, which I'll give you in a moment. And I noticed something softening and cleansing, like some debris being swept up and tossed into the air to be dissipated. At our retreat this past weekend, Flint offered beautiful teachings on recognizing we are Buddha. He focused us on Hakuen's Song of Zazen. I know he's been using this in other retreats recently. That began the very first lines of the Song of Zazen. All beings by nature are Buddha. As ice by nature is water, apart from water, there is no ice. Apart from beings, no Buddha. And as Flint does so well, he expanded on these lines to demonstrate the truth of what they say. I took this and amended the above instruction this way. Know this, no matter who you are, and what you've done or not done or cannot do, you are always Buddha nature, always. Now, during this time as well, I also came across another pith instruction offered by the cultural bodhisattva Eleanor Roosevelt. She said, most everything that gets done in the world is done by people who don't feel well. I found that very encouraging, as well as provocative, actually. In a way, it stunned me to consider that I wasn't alone and separate from most of the world. Saying this to you right now, it seems obvious, but at the time I sensed not being aware of this truth was one way I let myself stand apart as an other, seeing others, as other. As I've considered this, I think it is a function of ill health to feel alone. Our awareness constricts, our energy pulls back, and our view of the world can get quite small. So we need to consciously open up any blinders to know the truth of our human condition. We are a collective species in all states of health through all times. All of this certainly was an opportunity to practice the Buddha's guidance on attending to difficult emotions. Gaze on them with kindness and sit in stillness, he said. So, I want to invite you to consider a pith heart teaching now using these simple instructions. Here's how we do it. First of all, the first instruction is to spend time reading the teaching a few times, and I'll do that for us as part of this practice. Secondly, notice how it lands in you, not as a concept, but as a body and being experience, which means it's really important to resist conceptualizing it in any way. Noticing any arguments that come up, for example, oh, this is too simple, I know this one already, or this can't really help me. Just watch that come through. It's like that's the kind of flotsam and jetsam that goes through the river of our thoughts, and just let that pass through without judging it in any way. Let them go and return to the noticing, using your awareness in a scanning sort of way to pay attention to what's happening throughout your body. Reflecting on any effect at all. It might take a bit of time, and if you choose to work with these sorts of things, it might take a few sessions, but you might find that something gets touched. We'll spend a couple of minutes in this consideration, and then the third instruction, after that period of time, then just sit with it as in Zazen. Let go of the instruction, the teaching. Don't try to mull it over in your mind. Simply sit as you know how. Attention to breath, attention to posture, attention to your mudra. Rest in sitting and allow the pith heart teaching to do what it can do for you. I will name each step as we go along. So here's the heart teaching I'm going to repeat a few times. Using your breath, just let yourself take it in. Know this, no matter who you are, or what you've done or not done, or cannot do, you are always Buddha nature, always. Know this, no matter who you are, or what you've done, or not done, or cannot do, you are always Buddha nature, always. One more time. Know this, No matter who you are, or what you've done or not done, or cannot do, you are always Buddha nature. Always. Now we'll sit for a few minutes, actually a couple minutes, and just notice where that lands in you. Just being in your body, being in your center. And if any thoughts come up, just let them pass through and just let yourself take your awareness, use your awareness to notice what happens in your body. You'll hear a bell at the end of the 2 minutes. And now let go of this awareness scanning of your body and just let yourself sit. Sit as you know how to sit. Attention to your breath, to your posture, to your mudra. Rest in this sitting and allow the teaching to do what it does to you in this moment and for you in this moment. Again, you'll hear a bell at the end of a couple of minutes. All right, let's open up for discussion now. What did you notice? What came to you? How did you meet the instructions? There isn't any right or wrong way. Did you notice something that's beyond who you are, who you know yourself to be that came up? And actually, anything else that you want to comment on or bring up? So bring yourself forward.
We have Joel.
Hello, Joel.
Hi, Suzanne. Thank you for this beautiful teaching and this beautiful invitation. Sitting with the instruction, no matter what I've done, no matter what I haven't done, whatever I'm capable of, whatever I'm not capable of, sitting with that, I felt a kind of a contraction in my chest, as if, and it felt like something was pushing outward to cause the contraction, not the usual kind of contraction or something. It felt very, very active and very full body as well. But then the thought came to me that sure, all of life is Buddha. The life that is living through me is Buddha, but not me. Not, not the part of me that makes choices and feels incapable of things. And then I felt like there was a kind of a membrane between them that was maybe a little more permeable than before, but still feeling that separation. That's not new. That's not a new thought for me.
Okay.
It has come up many times before, and I've talked about it with Peg and Flint and others. But this was very clarifying. Very just your instructions helped me feel it to feel it in an embodied way.
Thank you so much, Joel. It was a beautiful description of what does emerge in a body and in your particular body. I really appreciate that. You're coming forward. Hello, Rosemary.
Hi, Suzanne. Thank you so much. So I noticed a lot of relief, emotional relief, because I think I live with a lot of guilt. Um, and it felt like radical acceptance. And that's, yeah. And yeah, it was like somebody said, oh, it's okay. And yeah, that was very emotional. And it was very relaxing because I fell asleep and I had a dream. so so I guess that kind of it's okay was really yeah, very brought some serenity.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And apparently much needed.
Apparently.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I love that, and I think it's something I could use a lot as a reminder. Um, and then in the sitting part, um, yeah, it was just relaxing, and more of so the initial part was painful because the guilt was um, releasing, I guess you could say. And
Okay.
yeah, so then yeah, it was much more serene by the time we were sitting.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so
Wonderful.
a really great reminder.
Yeah.
Just those words, I love how simple it is.
Yes. That's what really drew me to this, was the simplicity without it being simplistic. The simplicity just goes right to the heart of what is needed. And what I'm appreciating about, well, one of the things that you said, Rosemary, it's a prime example that we often don't know that we're actually needing permission to face something and to let it go, let it be. Most of the time it's a letting it be so that it can release. We talked about that quite a bit on our retreat this weekend. Letting it be, it can release. Like, we're often told, just take care of your posture and your breath and your mudra, and awakening will take care of itself.
Yeah, it's like you don't know what you're holding.
We don't know what we're holding. And we don't know that we need to give ourselves permission to face it and to really negotiate with it, in a sense. Oh, do I really need this? I don't. I don't.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rosemary.
We have John.
Hello, John.
Hello. Hello, Suzanne. Thank you so much for bringing those pith instructions. I've never come across them before. I will certainly look at them. But the one that you pulled out, it went straight there, straight there. And it was as if my heart was saying, I know. And it feels really like a can't think of the next word, an increased sense of knowing the place from where I can turn towards all those things that I have done and all those things that I haven't done, and just turn towards them and bring acceptance and compassion to them, and to the me who did or didn't do all those things. Yeah. So just that.
Yeah. Thank you for speaking to this, John, because I think we often catch ourselves up in qualifying things. Well, because I either haven't done this or because I've done that, and I can't really be the Buddha nature that I'm told I am, or that there's conditions on it.
Yeah.
And go ahead, John. Go ahead.
That's not what I have found a catching point, a sticking point. What I find to be the catching point is I guess, forgiving myself, that compassion for the me who did those things or didn't do those things. And I think this has really helped me stand more clearly in the place from where I can accept myself. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So thank you again.
You're welcome. Because of what you just said, that is true.
What do you mean?
That in forgiving yourself, that is true. If there's a need to forgive yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Not. Yeah. And yes, I am subject to a sort of a unnecessary, unhelpful regret.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. As opposed to what the poet David White calls wholesome regret.
Yeah.
The acknowledgement of Yeah, this is the truth of my life.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming forward, John. While we're waiting, I'll give you a couple of more fifth instructions. Well, this one, it's modern day one. It's from the musician John Batiste, and it's the lyrics to his Grammy nominated song this year. We are born the same, return to that place. We are born the same, return to that place. Or one that Flint gave us this past weekend. Our Zazen posture is Buddha's expression. It is not our karmic or conditioned expression of life. I love this one. I came across, by the way, I'll show you the book of Pith Instructions that the article was based on. I love this one. Meditate for 20 minutes a day. If you are busy, meditate for an hour. There's a couple more I can give later, but
Now we have Pam.
hello, Pam.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
You've spoken before on these fifth instructions without a name that I remember associated with them. And I put them in the basket, or maybe this was even what they were called, was skillful means. So to me, it feels like that's exactly what it is. And it feels like I'm missing a lot of that. I was so grateful when you first started talking about it this morning. It was like, oh, this is the name for this. So I will be able to find out a way to pursue. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the book is. When you gave the instruction and we went into that exercise, I found that immediately I felt it in my heart. And then right away, it just sank right down into my stomach. And I could feel various sensations of fear that go along with that. And what I noticed was that in my body, there was kind of a pulling together, and my posture just naturally kind of does that too. So that was interesting. And so there's somehow a connection that was brought to my attention between my heart and my stomach that I carry with me most all the time. And of course it ended. And so for me, this will be a way that I can go in further and spend more time with this. So it's kind of exciting to see that, because I can see it manifest in my life and now be able to learn a little bit more about it.
Yes, yes. I'm very glad to know that the connection you made was between your head and your stomach.
Between my heart,
I
actually.
mean, your heart and your stomach.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. You know, fear chemistry, without knowing it, it flashes up just like that, right? And fear is always about something precious to us is at risk or in danger. So when we can let ourselves consider that, is this an actuality? Am I really at risk or in danger? Or is it a perception of something that's part of the conditioning that's been there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The mind stepped in and said, oh, you must be afraid that this, you're not a part of this, which could be, but I don't know, because I haven't really explored it yet. It was a thought. Yeah.
And now you have this richness to consider. Yeah.
So thank you.
You're welcome, Pam. You're welcome. One of the other pith instructions that we talked about this weekend was I wrote it. If you want to understand suffering, learn to love. If you want to learn to love, face suffering. I'll show you the book that the article was based on. It's a book called The Awakening Heart. The Awakening Heart by Jamyang Tenful. He is a Australian monk, and the subtitle is 108 Pith Instructions for Buddhist Practice.
For Cassie, Suzanne.
Hello, Cassie.
So very wonderful to be with you and everyone. You got me with the love and the suffering. I was just like, here's my thing.
Yes.
And
Yes.
how interesting it is that like that love brings up its opposite. Is, so interesting to me. And that I'll notice my hesitancy for feeling that, for feeling love, for being connected. I'll notice a block for something that is like the foundation of nourishment. And so it's like mind-blowing to me that I would stop myself from doing, experiencing, offering, and if notice I'm tapping, I'm fidgety, I'm very fidgety. So I must be at a tender place if this energy is kind of showing up and and I guess that I'm asking myself, what is the fear? Like, is it just rejection? Which seems obvious. Or a judgment of unworthiness. And what happens when I forget to self-judge?
You mean take it in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Cassie, love is the most powerful experience in human existence. And what you said about love brings up everything unlike itself. And so we cause ourselves a lot of suffering in either putting up some defense about it for probably all the reasons you said and more. It's part of the conditioning, that the repentance talks about, from beginningless greed, hate, and delusion, right? Yeah. And so our task in life is, and I think it's going to go on till, we're breathing our last breath, is allowing ourselves to receive the love that's all around us all the time.
And what I've heard reported from people who spend time with people as they die, you know, that what they report back is that what they cared about was love.
That's right. That's right. It's the thing we long for the most, isn't it?
Right. And so why do we long for this thing the most and has the most resistance? Why are those two things like equally balanced?
Ah, yeah. Yeah. Well, conditioning will do a lot. We long for it because that's what we thrive on. It's our nourishment. We need it. We know that. We know what happens when children don't get loved,
Yeah.
right? Or when human beings aren't loved. We know what happens. We see it. We see it every day. And so, you know, it doesn't take much to go, well, what is it for me to do here? What can I offer other than my own loving heart?
Yeah.
And we don't have to wait to offer what we can, you know, until we're absolutely sure we know what we're doing. Or that we're absolutely sure we don't have any defenses against it anymore. That, you know, we don't have to wait.
Yeah, because that in itself is the defense.
That's right. But I know, Cassie, that you provide love in multiple ways. In your art, your photography, your generosity. I know that. Flint talks about Cassie's, what she does, what she's giving. I know that.
Yeah.
And it's the other, you know, to get it, to allow it to come back. So I use these kind of hand gestures when I meet my own resistance, as in, okay, come on back. Okay, come on. Yeah, just come on. Here we go. Not a like this, but a come on, this is okay.
Yeah.
Because we use hand gestures to defend, right? So when we just turn it around and go, oh, well, if I just did this, what would that be like? And just the gesture, we don't even have to put words to it.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you, Suzanne. I'm gonna
You're
take that
welcome.
with me.
You're
Yeah.
welcome, Cassie. Thanks so much for coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Big exhale.
Good. I heard that.
Sheila.
You're still muted, Sheila. Welcome.
That's what's happening.
There we go. Okay.
What happened? I
Mhm.
was saying I won't take long because it don't have any words.
Oh.
That first exercise
Mhm.
just was. It just
Mm.
I can't use the words, but kind of like it filled or it was all there was.
Mhm.
Buddha or something. It just was all there was for the whole time.
Mhm. Mhm. Your gestures are saying it, Sheila. Yes.
Thank you for it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It was everybody.
Mm.
It was everybody.
Everybody's teaching today.
It's just one thing.
Yeah.
Put words on it.
Yes.
We have Sue.
I think we have time for, you know, what's been called the lightning round. So here comes Sue. There, great. Hello, Sue.
Hello.
Hello.
Things came up on the screen.
Mhm.
Well, I was there this weekend.
Yes, you
And
were.
what you just did was transport me back there.
Ah,
I mean, I just felt the love of everyone.
mhm.
It was just so meaningful.
Mhm. Mhm.
And since it's the lightning rod, I just want to thank you for that transport.
You're welcome, Sue. Mhm.
And will you tell us the name of the book again, please?
Sure, sure. I'll hold it up. It's called The Awakening Heart by Jem Yang Tenful. Just a little yellow book, and it's just filled with, a page per pith instruction. 108 of them.
Ooh. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'll read a couple more here. Realization, this is from Dogen. Realization, neither general or particular, is effort without desire. Clear water all the way to the bottom, a fish swims like a fish. Vast sky transparent throughout, a bird flies like a bird. And here's from the Buddha. Irrigators channel water. Fletchers shape arrows. Carpenters fashion wood. The wise train their minds. Know this, no matter who you are or what you've done or not done or cannot do, you are always Buddha nature, always. Let's close with practice principles. Caught in the self-centered dream, only suffering, holding to self-centered thoughts exactly the dream, each moment life as it is, the only teacher, being just this moment compassion's way, caught in the self-centered dream, only suffering, holding to self-centered thoughts exactly the dream, each moment life as it is, the only teacher, being just this moment compassion's way, caught in the self-centered dream, only suffering, holding to self-centered thoughts exactly the dream, each moment life as it is, the only teacher, being just this moment compassion's way. Have a wonderful rest of the day, everybody, wherever you are. Take care. Goodbye. And turn it over to Maria. Back to Maria.
Oh, thank you so much, Suzanne. I love how your talks are just so embodied, even from two oceans away, and I can see from the people that came forward, we're all spaced out, and yet we're all feeling it fully. So thank you so much for that and reminding us that we're always Buddha nature. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for that, Suzanne. And if you'd like to offer dana to Suzanne, please do go to opendoorzencommunity.org, and it's in the chat if you want to go to their website. But thank you all so much. And if you'd like to continue for a further 30 minutes, pop yourself into gallery view and I'll be with you in just a moment. Thank you all so much. Thank you.